Good afternoon. I'm Ethan Moy here with Coach B as part of the 21st and final episode of the season of Coach B Weekly. You know, it's last episode of the season. Seems like just yesterday we had the different logo back here and just kind of getting settled into the knack here at the start of the season. So, I mean, season really flew by, didn't it?
Really flew by. Just getting into the new arena, to the knack, the place that we're blessed to have while we're waiting for the
event center, which the beams just went up, so it's getting really exciting about that.
It's been exciting to see the progress. Every day my commute in, I drive by the arena and I see the progress, the new things that are going on. So it's been cool to see every day, just drive by it and see the progress. But yeah, it just seems like yesterday moving in here, getting the offices situated, getting our routine in order about where we're coming in from the locker room and being out on the court every day, making it all work and getting it all right. But the season does fly by. When you have every day as a focus to go 100% and to get a little bit better, as we talk about all the time, having those next challenges, game in and game out, who we're focusing on, who the next challenge is, and then obviously always focusing on ourselves about how we can do better. It does fly by, and that's something that already sitting down and talking to some of the some of the players and about how they've been doing since the last game, sitting down with them, having visits and coming to the office. They're all saying, Coach, I feel a little different. It's like I just I don't have anything going on like we had going on, and I kind of actually miss being in there. And it's a great culture to have. They want to go to work and they feel a little different when they're not working. But we're focusing on the schoolwork now. Finishing up strong. So
so let's discuss the season as a whole. You went 25-8, a school record for wins in a season, 16-2 in the NEC, co-champions of the NEC regular season, and went to the 5th straight NEC title game, and then also participated in your second WNIT. What one word, I gave you a lot of words there, but what one word, if you can, would best describe the 2017-18 season here?
Wow, one word. A lot of them are coming through my head right now because of the season and just remembering all the things we did. A lot of times there's so many overused words, special and all this stuff. I would like to come up with a word that was just a little bit more specific to this team. We were a young team. So that we had challenges right ahead of us that were tough. Being young and not having experience in the bulk minutes that were played by those freshmen. I would say driven. I would say driven.
Okay.
I'd say the word that really made this team, what they were this year and how they continue to get better every day was they were very driven to be better.
Okay.
Just coming to work every day, video sessions, just seeing the attention to detail, the wanting to get better. Especially challenging, the freshmen. This was all new to them.
Wherever whether it's Callie from Virginia or Hanukkah from Japan, it's a different routine.
It was a different routine, and when it comes to just handling things, that was what was really great about this team. When you have your first moment of success as a freshman, especially with the amount of minutes and the roles that some of the freshmen played. There was a lot of tests within ourselves that we had to go through this year, especially the freshmen. And they had to test themselves not only how to handle failure, but how to handle success. And that was something that I felt was a big difference, is that I was very aware to watch out for when someone had a great game, someone is going well, if they were changing their passion, if they're changing their humility. And I saw a ton of steady mindsets as young, and I think that had a lot to do with what really developed the successful season that we had. The accomplishments we made and the growth in such a short period of time was that the tests were there. Created through success and failure. And I felt that was something that we passed the test on often. So those young guys going through it for the first time, they could have lost focus. They could have, got caught up in, the superficial stuff. I'm always telling them, fame is fleeting. When you get a ton of attention, from the outside of our circle.
Yep.
Those people will be here today and they'll be gone tomorrow. The same people that'll be promoting you and cheering you on will be the same people that'll be criticizing you and knocking you down. You can't live in those moments.
Right.
And I thought that they did a great job. And I got to credit the seniors.
Yeah.
I got to credit the sophomores, the juniors. I got to credit all the upperclassmen, all the student athletes that have been here. That attitude and that culture is something that I instilled from the beginning through our staff with the players. But they have to be player driven. When we're not around, those guys have to understand that that has to be continuous, you know, when they're sitting down talking to a freshman and everything. And everything that I could see and everything I heard from the freshmen was that those guys were really, you know, drilling in what we do and how we do it. And I think that had a lot to do with it as well.
Yeah, absolutely. Now, you mentioned about how, you know, different moments for the freshman stuff. Would you say there's like one particular moment that really stands out from the season? I mean, there's a few that I can just throw out right away, like obviously Megan Smith's buzzer beater against SFU, making fifth straight title game with a big win against LIU Brooklyn, us going to Santa Monica over Thanksgiving break. Like, is there one particular moment that really stands out?
I
know, I'm trying to break you down just to one. One word, one moment.
Well, you know, I would say, you know, the Megan Smith three-pointer at the buzzer had so much, there was so much in that moment that made shot was just kind of the finale.
Yeah, there was a build. There was a build to that. Turned the ball over 33 times in that game. You're down by, you know, 9 points with 7 minutes to go and still come away with a victory there.
There was so much, I mean, that moment as far as that game, it was the exact midway point through the conference season. It was where we only had that one game on that weekend, and then we were going to have that long week. That was the exact middle part of the season right there. And like you said, being down, you know, we were 8-0 going into that game. We could have got very complacent. We could have held our head, you know, we could have put our head down, I should say, and said, this feels foreign to us. We're down. They've been up most of the game. But the resiliency to fight, I think that was special. That was really player-driven.
Yeah.
And I always talk about player-driven. And, you know, getting the stop at the end of the game, having a great defensive possession there, forcing a really tough shot, getting the ball back, you know, calling the timeout, setting things up.
Not exactly getting the look that you wanted there, because Callie kind of fumbled the ball.
She had and we had to go into the extension of the play, not the actual play. We had an extension. We had to get into the extension, and then a freshman like Nina Augustin.
And making the pass there.
Yeah, so heady. Just if you watch her, just shift her speed a little bit there, coming off it, keeping her head up, delivering the ball perfectly. Everything had to be such great timing, and we had to be connected so well there.
Yeah.
And then obviously all those shots that Megan's taken throughout her career. In the game and more importantly in practice, the extra shooting after practice.
It's actually a little surprising that I haven't seen her ever looking in your office here shooting.
Yeah, I told her try to take a few days and just relax, and she has. And you know, we're finishing up, like I said, strong with school now, and everyone's really 100%. Academics have to make sure that everything, and we had such great midterm grades. I talked about the motivation now to say, hey, let's go for a national title when it comes to GPA. You know, we fell short with the national title for basketball, but now let's go after the GPA national title. So she's working hard still academically as well as everybody else is at this time. But that shot going in, that had a lot to do with a lot of the shots that she's taken. And you know, going by and extending kind of on that. We played at St. Francis of Brooklyn later. Megan had another opportunity that shot came off. More from the right wing area, not from a little bit moved over to the right, but it was a similar shot at the buzzer, and it looked like it had a shot and came off at back rim. But you know, that's life. You know, people have to realize that. You know, it's you know, everyone is. You know, they always say trusting the process. That's a big. I don't use that much, but that's a big term now that you see a lot of coaches use. Trust the process. It's real easy to trust the process when you're winning. Everyone trusts the process. Well, I trust this. We're winning. I mean, why not? But that shot could come off as well as it can go in, and we had to handle that shot coming off at Brooklyn that time. And then, you know, I say that's another. I hate to extend another moment, but that was a moment because losing that game at Brooklyn,
and
a tough, hard-fought game, and they played well. I got to give Brooklyn all the credit for how they put us in that situation. We could have done things a ton better, but they played well and they played hard. But we had to respond from that moment, and we did. And we came back after that and played really well down the stretch. Won
7, 8 games in a row. And
so that was a moment too. And so I don't mean to cheat the answer because you said one moment.
I did say one moment,
but it kind of led me into saying there was so many moments, and that that was a moment of success.
Right.
Making the shot, winning the game, the joy of that, and then the sting that it had of missing a shot like Megan had, having to bounce back and continue to be a leader. She did a great job of that after that. So not living on highs and lows, enjoying it when it happened, but then not being, down and miserable and being on a real low when that shot didn't go. I think that was, again, another moment.
Yeah. Now, Megan, one of the 4 seniors on the team, slated to lose all 4 to graduation here. I want to kind of, break down each of their careers here. First, starting with Kima. Shakima Dashel, obviously, she played only 2 games this season due to injuries, but her leadership, both on and off the court, vital to the team's success this year.
Kima is one of the biggest parts of a team I've ever coached. That is something I could say with 100% confidence, without any hesitation. She is one of the best leaders, Robert Morris women's basketball has ever had, that I've ever had as a coach.
Yeah.
And you could wonder, how is that possible when she didn't play much and she was on the bench? She never took a day off, whether she was in practice, whether she was out with her injuries, never took a day off from this team. Emotionally, vocally, everything. Every day that kid just works hard at making sure her team is in the right place, and she wanted to be a leader so badly this year for this team.
Yeah.
And she was always willing to understand how she can do more and what she can do more. So Shakima Dashel didn't give us much on the court. She did give us
that 3 against Lafayette.
I remember her running off at halftime, right at the buzzer, and just everyone said you had that big smile on your face as she was sprinting off the court by you as we were running off the court to the tunnel and to the locker room.
Yep.
Just her coming down and just feeling so proud of being able to help her team.
Right.
That's what that student athlete's all about. She wants to help her team. She wants to influence people in a positive way.
Yep.
And to me, that means everything. So a lot of the things that we did this year that were great, a lot of the growth, the development, the success, it has to have player driven to it, and Shakima Dashel was a catalyst at that. So great season for her, for everything she could do for us. Even though she didn't give us minutes on the court because she was hurt, at the end of the day, she gave us everything she could from where she was at. Had a lot to do with us.
Yeah, and then Jocelyn Jones, she finished top 3 in the league in steals, finished 8th all-time in steals here at RMU, and set a bunch of career highs in many categories, and even the 21-point game against St. Francis at NEC championship game. Seems like she peaked at the right time her senior year.
Jocelyn Jones, we sat down the other day, and we sat down and we had a good visit, and we talked a lot about how far she's come. She feels it. I know her family feels it a ton. Speaking with her mom and dad, they're so appreciative of what Jocelyn has developed into, and they're so thankful. And as a coach, you take so much for that. You take so much. It just warms your heart.
Yeah.
To hear that they're so appreciative of everything we've done for Jocelyn, the coaching staff, everyone. It's just it's something that is priceless to hear that. And sitting down and talking with her, she feels it. She feels it. She loves who she is. We talk about looking in the mirror every day and liking the person you are, loving the person you are. And she loves it. She loves the fact that she knows that she was a certain way when she got here, and she's developed into what she is now, which is very tough-minded, appreciative person that really went out there this year and pushed herself to change. Last year, it wasn't Jocelyn's best year.
Right.
She had a year where she was really high and low, and she had some really long stretches of not playing to her capability. But that's life again.
Yeah.
You hit bad patches sometimes. You got to bounce back. And this year's team, we had a lot of injuries, and she knew that she had to step up and take on a bigger role. we all want a bigger role.
Right.
But are you willing to do what it takes?
Yeah.
And she was this year. Her numbers were through the roof, steals. She was constantly guarding the other team's best player. She gave us such a great element around the basket, going up and getting balls, transition, things like that. She just, and the way she finished in the conference tournament, the way she finished her conference career was amazing. She had such a great game against St. Francis of PA on the road. And I felt that was a testament to how hard she worked this year. She deserved that game.
Yeah.
Jocelyn battled through a ton this year, and she embraced every minute of it. I've never been prouder.
Yeah. And then you go to Michaela Mulrain. She, against Drexel, set the program record for blocks. After sitting at 169 for a while, I made a GIF on the RMU women's basketball Twitter page. I'm like, I really need to use this. I really need to use this. So thankfully, she got the 2 blocks there. We got it out. It was, turned out all right. So she had that, and she's also the program leader in career games played. So as steady of a presence as they come here at RMU, really.
Michaela, first of all, with the blocks, very long. But learned a lot about how to use her length.
Right.
When she first came here, she didn't know how to use her length very well. Just how she, when you get blocks, a lot of time it's from the player you're guarding, but it also comes from coming over into help defense and getting over there and getting good position, being in an athletic position. She learns so much. She has a long wingspan, but she learns so much about how to use it. And I think that had a lot to do with, her exploding at certain parts and having those games where she had tons of blocks. It was because she really started to understand it and get it, and she wanted to. There's another very humble student athlete that really wanted to get better and never resisted, even if it was tough. Some things don't come easy, and Michaela stayed very focused on making sure that she wanted to be better and she was willing to do what it takes. So seeing her break that record, I'm very proud of her. At the end of the day, her focus and our focus is always doing whatever we can to help the team. And her length and her basket protecting helped the team a ton. So it was great to see her get that accomplishment. And she had a great senior year as well. She played very hard for us. Some games didn't put up huge numbers, but was consistent. She was a consistent attitude and effort on the court for us every game. I was very, very happy with how she's developed here.
And then coming back to Megan Smith, 3-time All-NEC pick, one of 4 players to have 1,000 career points, 500 career rebounds, 200 career steals, and probably the program's all-time leader in charges taken. Just cap her career and how successful and again how steady she was as well.
Nobody has ever come close to the amount of charges that Megan Smith has taken of any student athlete I've ever been encountered with. I've seen, watched alongside. I've never seen anybody take the amount of charges she's taken on any level. And that is a testament to her toughness and her willingness to do whatever the team needs her to do. A lot of times coaches will, be upset when we take charges. Trying to say block charge or, she didn't get hit that hard, she's flopping. I think a lot of people have to recognize, ask your student athletes, are they willing to do that? Maybe you don't like the charge call because they're not willing to do it. They're not willing to take the contact and fall back, and that's toughness. Megan, that's just one aspect of her game. Inside, outside, posts up, shoots from the perimeter. Was a very stable presence for us, and that's something we talk about. As I recap these seniors, all I keep thinking about is development again, growth. Megan Smith came in here, her first game, we were talking about this the other day as we met. Her first game was against Iowa on the road. It was a great coming out party. She hit shots, she trailed, hit threes. She played great for us. It was like, boy, what a first game. She really showed that, hey, I'm going to be one of the faces of this program. I'm going to come out here and I'm going to bring it to the Big Ten as well as I'll bring it to the conference. And that was a great first game. But I talked to Megan about how much she still had to grow, not just with her skill set, but mentally. And she'd be the proudest person about that. She'd be the proudest. Nobody can beat her with that because she knows how far she's come. Understanding the highs and lows. Very passionate, but understanding how to be passionate, but also stability. To not be high and low. Some some student athletes, or even at the professional level, you'll see they call very emotional.
Right.
You know, you get very emotional. And emotion is great, but you got to be able to keep it at a steady place. You know, having a passionate attitude towards playing, but not being on highs and lows when things aren't going your way, is what Megan had to work on.
Right.
And if you've been here for 4 years, you'll see that this season, she was a steady mentality for us. You could count on her that she was going to come into games, not get into foul trouble like she used to.
Right.
She wasn't in foul trouble much at all this year.
Right.
She fouled out a ton of games her first 2 years. Last year was better, but her first couple of years she fouled out a ton of games where she was always in foul trouble. This year the foul trouble was very, very small. And just understanding the defensive concepts, the communication. We had a great defensive year this year as far as our numbers. We were in the top 10, I believe you used to tell me.
Top 10, yeah. And it's a school record for points per game allowed, scoring defense, after setting the record last year. Like, trimmed 3 points off of that.
And I think a lot of it has to do it again, you know, with Megan Smith being back here the next year, and Michaela Mulring being back here, and Jocelyn Jones, Shakima Dashel. Just having those guys that have been doing what we've been doing for a while, understanding how we do things, getting smarter, getting more intelligent. You know, the vocal leadership that Megan had on the court, the huddles, whether things are going good or bad. That was important for her, and had a lot to do with our defensive unit. Not just the taking the charges or covering her man, just our overall concept of how we defend. She had a lot to do with it. She was a vocal leader out there, making sure everyone was, if we made a mistake, we had a bad moment, getting them in, correcting them where we didn't have a timeout, and she had to take over in the huddle. I think that has a lot to do with it. And I'm going to say this too, the recognition of the coaches in our league to vote her onto the first team. I don't get caught up much in voting and rewards, you know how I am with that. That stuff to me, voted on rankings, all that, it's something that's really not a part of my life. But it was nice to see for her to be recognized for her efforts to put her on the first team, even though she didn't have the huge points per game. They recognized the other things that Megan was doing for us and how important she was with that defense and offense.
Now, after losing those 4 seniors, you got Nia Adams coming back, is slated to be the lone senior next year, a pair of sophomores and 5 freshmen. So what's your message to younger players here heading into 2018-19?
The message is that we came very close this year, you know, to getting to the NCAA tournament, which is one of our ultimate goals. That we don't think about, we don't, you know, think ahead on, but we set that goal early in the year. That's what we would love to get to and make our run. But you came just a little bit short, and what do we need to do to continue to grow, to keep going for that goal and to accomplish it? You know, we have a ton of goals that we set every year, and then we just focus on each day at a time. But just talking about the development of those seniors, they develop by putting the work in and by putting those extra hours in. That means everything. Just the message is just get back in there, keep your heart full to get better, to want to get better, not get discouraged. There's a list of things that we go over basketball-wise with each student athlete on our team, talking about the things they need to improve on, and get in the gym and work on those. Work on the things that are tough. Take care of yourself, take care of your body, take care of things when you're on your own. Those are things that have to be player driven. You know, they have a lot of responsibility now. So use this off season as a way of, you know, creating healthier habits, healthier routines. We're very driven into that stuff, but when you get out of season, you know, you get tested
they get a little go to the wayside a little bit.
You get tested. You got much more time on your hands. We only get a little bit of time to work with you each week. So, you know, those healthy routines and that mindset of wanting to be better and being willing to do what it takes to be better. You know, when we get into the season next year and we start going, you know, we'll be focusing on those things. But the message right now is for what's in the moment now. And the moment is we came very close this year to getting to the NCAA tournament, but we had an extremely successful year. We won a bunch of games. Our conference record was very strong, 16-2. We finished up strong even though we had injuries. My message would be I'm very proud of them for all we did. I think there was a lot of, you know, doubt that we could turn things back around after losing such special seniors last year that were so great and contributed so well to this program. I think there was some doubt there, but we don't involve ourselves with that stuff. We just go each day at a time, and now we got to go each day at a time now in the off season. Do what's healthy.
Yeah.
Don't get caught up too in fame. You know, like I said, when we were going for that conference championship, there was a ton of attention.
Yeah.
And you got to take that in stride because fame is fleeting, and learn from that as well. If you got caught up a little bit in that at all, we didn't see it as a coaching staff. We felt our guys really dialed in, but learn from that as well. Because what we're doing out here every day is what's important. Pushing ourselves to be the best we can, staying positive at all times, keeping our faith strong, no matter if things are going well or they're not.
Right.
That's what this program is all about. So learning from everything that we've had and just now going forward one day at a time. Handling the off season with grace.
Yeah. And then lastly here, a message for the fans. I mean, they're very supportive this season and really of any season, and maybe something to let them know like what to expect going forward here with Robert Morris women's basketball.
Moving into the NAC.
Yeah.
We stayed on campus. That was a big decision. Stay on campus, and the student athletes being able to play here and have a routine of practicing where they play.
Yeah.
That was something that was a big decision. But seeing, the support of the student body coming in here and making it a loud environment and stuff, that means a lot to us. So the ones that came out this year were very appreciative. I want the student body to know that we're very appreciative and thankful of all the support we get. And the ones that haven't been out yet, that maybe watch us for a distance or saw things on the internet or on their phone or on social media, get out here. It's right up the hill. It's right there. It's a very short walk.
Right.
Get up here and pack this place. Be ready for next season. If you weren't here with us this season, be here for next season. For the local fans, for the families that drive in for their daughters.
Yep.
I can't thank them enough. I can't thank them enough for being here and supporting. No matter what day we're playing, on a Saturday, a Monday, a Friday, a Sunday, during the middle of the week, out of conference. I cannot thank them enough. It means everything to us. Programs that have that excitement and that support behind them, you could see what it does for them.
Oh, for sure.
You could see what it does. The energy is contagious, and that loyalty, those positive voices in the crowd, always encouraging, not getting negative. We had a young team this year, and I don't hear much about the crowd. I never do. People always say, "Did you hear them announce this over the announcements? Did you see this person at the game?" I never do because I'm always so much into the lines. But as people tell me that and hearing things that I hear about the fan base, it means so much to us. So we always make sure that our fans know how much we appreciate them, and anything we can do to make their experience more special, we always try to.
Yeah.
And that going forward for next year is what we hope to continue to grow with. How long we're in the NAC next year.
Remain to be seen.
Remain to be seen. Let's pack it.
Yep.
Until we're out of here, let's make it a loud.
Let's
make it a fun environment. Let's take pride in the team and come out and just continue to grow. That's what I'm all about, just wanting to see continued growth. So let's continue the excitement around the program and continue to grow. And like I said, we'll keep working as hard as we always can. Every day for us is an opportunity to get better. We don't get caught up in the hype and all the highs and lows, but we continue to work hard, and that's the main thing that we're trying to teach here is just don't live on highs and lows.
Right.
Continue to do things the right way. Work hard. Don't expect rewards, but understand that when you work hard, good things are going to happen, and you can hold your head up high no matter win or lose. And the fact that we went down in the NIT this year and we weren't able to advance, and we had to they had to tell us that we had to stop playing now. That was tough for some of these guys, but the support that we have behind us to come back next year and stuff like that is so important. So I thank everyone for being here, and I thank everyone that plans to be here for next year. This is a great program that's moving in the right direction, and we're very proud of what we're doing here, and not just by wins and losses, but by the by the attitude of the program and the student athletes and how they represent us.
Mm-hmm. Absolutely. Well, once again, thank you for joining me, and have an enjoyable off season.
Well, thanks, Ethan. I appreciate it. It's been great, visiting with you weekly. And,
Absolutely.
I've enjoyed, the show, and I feel great about what we have going forward. But this show has been awesome.
Yeah, and just continue to grow next season.
Yep.
You can follow everything on RMU Women's Basketball by following us on Twitter or Instagram at rmuwbasketball.com, or going onto rmucolonials.com to follow all your women's basketball happenings.